Hey, Happy New Year! Welcome to Fashion Transformation with Eva. I'm Eva, helping you create the sustainable wardrobe you have always wanted. Today it's a lovely sunny day and I have now created the first piece for my new 2021 collection inspired by shipwrecks, and today I wanted to show you how I made that piece. Now the first thing that I did is I chose the clothes I was going to transform, and I had three pieces. I had a shirt with sleeves, I had another shirt which I had previously made into a sleeveless top with ties, and I also had half a garment of something else that I had previously created. I like creating things from things that I've already created, from things that already existed. I think it's quite a challenge, and so this is what I tried to do this time. The first thing that I had to do is to put together a list of everything that I needed to do step by step to create the piece. And the next thing that I did was to unpick everything. So I had the components from each garment. Okay, so I've just spent some of the morning unpicking the clothes that I'm going to use as material for this particular design. You could see it all behind me. It's quite a lot of pieces. The morning's just gone so quick. It's taken me about an hour and a half to do this, and press and iron it nicely as well. So now I'm going to get my little pattern out that I created earlier in the series. By the way, if you haven't seen the series, do check them out. I'll put them in the description below to see what I have been up to in terms of research and fun creative ideas. And now I'm going to grab the pattern for this design, and I'm going to scale it to a larger size. So fingers crossed this works. It's not a standard pattern anymore, so we'll see how it turns out. So to make my pattern bigger, this is in half scale, I'm going to measure every single part of the pattern. For example, the side is 8.5 centimeters, and I'm going to double that. So on my real pattern, it will actually be 17 centimeters, and I'm going to do that with every part. This may be a little bit trickier because I've opened this pattern, so I might close it first. I might just do the basic pattern and then do to it what I did to this, and open by 2 centimeters, not by 1, because everything will be doubled. Okay, so it's taken another over an hour actually to try and recreate these patterns for the front in full scale form. So I've got one side, so as you can see it's a lot bigger, but it's only twice bigger actually. Find the other one. Okay, so this is one of the sides, this is the other side. They're slightly different at the front, and I also tried to create a back using the same measurements for the sides, and I had to change the shoulder a little bit, draping on the mannequin. So it was a mixture of things that I did for the back, and I might still have to change it. I'm going to now prep the machine and start working with the cloth that I picked earlier. I'm going to stitch everything into a super cloth, if you like, and so I'm going to prep the colors that I need, because ideally when sewing and doing a project like this, you want to match your thread. So I've got white and I've got this blue, which I think I could put together with this And I also have this grey, which is kind of bluish as well, which would work well, but I don't have enough of it, so I might use it for some of these. And this also works for here. We just want colors that, if not the same, complement the project. Well, I am running out of daylight, and so I will have to continue tomorrow, but I've got my pattern mostly ready. I've got my fabric all prepped. So really it's a matter of cutting out the fabric, the garment pieces rather, stitching things together, and if I need to do any last adjustments, I'll do that. So yeah, here's to round 2 tomorrow. Day 2, and let's make this. Right, so I thought to pin the fronts together with the back as well, and it's more difficult when it's paper because it's so rigid even when it's thin. And okay, so the back is kind of half draped, kind of back, because I didn't really create it on the little mannequin, and I need to change a little bit before cutting into fabric. The front seems okay, provided this is paper, bear with me. I think what I might do is have it very slightly longer, maybe by a few centimeters, or an inch if you're working in inches. So I thought either, now that's what I need to decide, whether in the original I closed it, so I stitched here and I stitched the top as well, but this bit was open, so I can do that and then have the back possibly kind of open here, so I could cut this off completely and then have a fastening at the bottom of the back. So that's how you get into this garment. Or I could, like I've got it here, cut this on the folds. Actually, I've got a full back without any seams. It's like a box almost. So I add to this bit, make a little extension to make it fit, and then do that. So the back won't have any opening at all. And then at the front, I could only stitch to there and have a fastening here. So that's something I didn't really think that I'd have this dilemma. So have a little think and I'll get back to you on this one. Right, so I came up with something a bit different. As you can see, I cut off this bit. I haven't done this on the side yet because I thought actually like a halter neck kind of style would look quite nice, I think. And I matched that with the back, and then I thought I haven't cut this off obviously but the back will be one piece. I decided that now, which leaves us with fastenings at the front. And I'm now thinking, other than what I mentioned where we could add on here, we can add a fastening of some sort. Possibly here, instead of like having a seam, which is what I initially intended to do, I could have a bit of a wraparound thing going on, just slightly. So add some ties, so this can be tied at the bottom. I think that might be quite nice. So actually the front would be completely open, so you could wear it like a waistcoat almost, and then you could button it here and you could tie it here. That's kind of where this has taken me. It's very often the case with design. You need to have an open mind, but let's see what it looks like once we cut the pieces of fabric. And I made sure that I placed the patterns that are now finished on the fabric that I created from the pieces from earlier on. I cut out 2 pieces for the left front, 2 pieces for the right front, and 1 piece for the back. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to finish the front there is this bit at the front that you'll see in a minute, which needed a nice finish. And the best way to do that was to essentially line the whole garment, well, the front of the garment, to give it more stability, and to keep things nice and well finished. And this is why I did that. Now, the making took longer than expected. Let's say I had really high hopes for starting the year on a really full-on mode, but this took me a couple of days because essentially it's like creating a prototype for a design, and so things would happen and then you'd have to improvise to see what you can do about things that come up. For example, I had to think about finishing the armholes at the back and how best to do that without lining it. I had to think about how to finish the shoulders, because the shoulders eventually, like I could finish them in different ways, but in the end what I did is I put the front shoulders into the back shoulders and stitch from the inside, which is a particular technique. If you want to learn how to do that in more detail, do put some comments in the comments below and let me know. And by the way, like this video if you like the process, if you're enjoying learning about how I'm making these prototypes. Right, next what I did is pretty much the end of it really. Once I had finished two fronts and a back, and I put the shoulders together, I stitched the sides, and I also added a little bit of extra material from what I had left to the bottom to have a nice finish at the hem, but also just added a little bit of extra color, and I think it's just nicer to have slightly longer design anyway. And so yes, so at the end I ended up having a bit of a halter neck style, not a top as much as the waistcoat with a tie detail. So the new detail was adding the tie and not stitching the front at all. But that's a result of things kind of not working exactly in the way that I envisioned, and actually working better this way. And this is the best thing about design. There's always a way you can go about things that's a bit different to what you thought, but it's actually better. Well, most of the time. Well, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time and show you what's coming up for the next piece. I've also started uploading more shorts, so quick videos with little tips and transformations, so check them out as well. Again, I'll put them in the description below. And until next time, stay creative and see you soon.